gate paragate parasamgate bodhisattva. Dayata gate paragate parasamgate bodhisattva. Dayata gate paragate parasamgate bodhisattva. Chanamla Janchu Badu Dani Gapsu Dani Chujen Sonaki Drola Teche Sangye Dropa Sho Chodan Sobe Sonamla Janchu Badu Dani Gapsu Dani Chujen Sonaki Drola Teche Sangye Dropa Sho Chodan Sobe Sonamla Janchu Badu Dani Gapsu Dani Chujen Sonaki Drola Teche Sangye Dropa Sho.
since Tanjo Totana Majaba Sanjay Kumaran was a China Tobacha, and the each of the judges of the Labjan of Tuition of Lama, she was similar to Jishomano was called, and the Council of Lamb in Sabbath.
So we set our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to achieve the state of complete and perfect enlightenment, in order to be of benefit, a maximum benefit to all sentient beings. And knowing that in order to attain that state I must perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. To perfect those trainings in turn I need to have a good understanding, and that good understanding only comes based on studying, based on an unmistaken text and unmistaken presentation. And so it is with this in mind that I come here this morning to listen to some teaching on the graduated path to enlightenment. Shokran de dunju dokshi di sokching biene ne koso de yen lak dun ton le kuye
ta kan je so shin de la da de ka se sho ni da lama chube loki en so shin set up su da da de ma ti de ge loki se shin so shin so shin set up su ni da so ka ge set up ne ma ti ke yo ma what is it.
And so we have been looking at the generation of the visualization of the merit field last week, and we were told that there were two traditions in which one can do this, according to the Guru Puja tradition, and according to this particular quick path to omniscience tradition. And it didn't matter which one you choose because both were perfectly fine.
Machi Dege look at that, Tunji Dosum the Chixida, Tunji Dosum, Machi Dege, Quatina, Tunji, Machi Dege look at social set that Tunji Dosum, no, Machi Dege look at social set up, Rangi Tunki Cat and Nagin Naso, Signature would give it a robot Chitonshi Yamba, Yamashita, the Tengi, Japjung say Nirvana, Signature would give it a robot Chumushigi, a Tenga Naso Pema. Da nimeki go etana ngoran tisa la mana bashta washaja tuba ano ko so kuto setsu mata uzu do ta bashaje chanye yesane nyamsa tuze ka rozana kula chugo mo me to jas so to me to jan zever so tsembe kibe da ze we gran she chans kula je we ko pombe na shari to je kibe ko shuba la me tuba onge tugana da lama tuba onbo di tugala da lama tuba onbo je di tugala ane doji changche 도시장도 두가라 근데 내가 잡아 sabba sumtse shi ngurwa sabba sumtse shi odina cha
So that's so the visualization of the merit field according to the quick path tradition. In the space in front of us, we visualize the very broad, vast throne, which is upheld by 8 great snow lions, and then above that, just above that, and just slightly behind, is a second, slightly smaller throne, still quite big, quite vast, and still held up by 8 great snow lions. And on that throne, on a variegated lotus and sun and moon disc mandala seat, sits my own root Lama in the form of the conqueror Shakyamuni Buddha, whose body is the color of molten gold, who has the Ushnish crown protrusion, one face, two hands, with the right hand in the mudra of expounding the Dharma, and the left hand in the meditative equipoise posture, holding an alms bowl filled with nectar. The body is adorned with the saffron robes of a monk, and is beautifully adorned, adorned also with the major and minor marks of a Buddha, as in the nature of light. And from this halo of light surrounding and emanating from the body of the Buddha, one can see that he's sitting in the Vajra posture. And then at the heart center of this Guru Shakyamuni Buddha is the figure of Vajradhara, and then at the heart of the figure of Vajradhara is the concentration being, wisdom being.
What are the symbols?
And these are the three beings.
What is Lama Tuga on the Tuga USA and Takaja Casoda, Takaja, Lame Tanta Namba, Takaja, Temjo to Trena, Takaja, Namre Chile, Lama Serota, Temjo to Treva, Temjo Treve, Nate Casada, Temjo to Treve, Nemo, Senti Casata, Senti Pendetella, and the Gawadoji Changa, Maju, Namre Chile, Lama Namge. Gone Shubach, Namju, Dada de Lamachuba Swashing in out doctor, the Casata, Zumamita, Nasujuba, doing the Nietzsche, Jabdilla Nietzsche, key to the chicken, Zumamita, Nachuba, Ruata, what remember that, and then Kumbashe, General Kumbashe Mogova Chenataka, Jawadoji Chana, Jube, Danyamichina Jube, Lamaticat. Because of the touch of the
So then from the heart center of the central figure, the Guru, the king of the subduers, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, light rays emanate, equal in number to all of the members or deities and lamas in the merit field. And then initially one focuses on those above, rising above the central figure, and again on a lion throne, moon and sun disk seat, one sees seated conqueror Vajradhara, and he's surrounded by all of the gurus connected with the consecrated practices lineage. And so we remember from the description of the merit field according to the Guru Puja tradition that the consecrated practice lineage comprised of 5 different columns of gurus behind the main figure. Here it's the single line or assembly of gurus surrounding Vajradhara. Okay, so this is
roadmap.
Roadmap for practice.
Google Maps to unlock it.
You'll not need such a yes. So then the group there directly above the central figure would be the consecrated practices lineage with Vajradhara at the head.
Yes, because yes, travel at the end. Java Jamba Combo, the time which you like to Lamatic to show yourself. You know, just Chambeyan, some of the you can Lamatic to show yourself.
And the group then to the central figure's right will be the vast practices or extensive practices lineage headed by Lord Maitreya and surrounded by all the gurus of that particular lineage. And on the main figure's left will be the profound view lineage with Manjushri surrounded by all the figures of that particular lineage.
다다 라마 주변 소신 잡아이나 다 지다 잠 자야니 그 잠배야다 냐르제 삼다요 다디 샴데라 가담게 라브리 맹아 아니 가서도 중과 봤으면 기바 디체 아니 때네 가서 가담 삼아 장고 라마 종가베 그네 기바 디게 어디서 송고 이봐 다들 때레랑 매바제 인교 건가 상태 받체 인교 때레스 대서 소소좀 하지 받체나 왔다가 남들 지나 주다 삼다요 기고 어디서
And so you will recall from the description of the visualization according to the Guru Puja tradition that the traditions of the extensive practices and profound view lineages were similarly placed as they are here, but also included in the Guru Puja visualization were the three different lineages from the Kadampa tradition. The treatise-based lineage, the Lamrim-based lineage, and the instructional-based lineage, and then below them were the new Kadampas or the Garupas with Lama Tsongkhapa at the center. Now, even though they're not visualized separately here, one assumes that they are included in all these these two different groupings.
So
both of these are the merit field according to the Lama Chopa or Guru Puja tradition.
다 든조서 주변 네모스다 든유 초라 주변 네모 센터 벤데데레 아니 진짜 자베 라마라 아니 저저 다 주던 것도 그 라마는 조건이 슈바자 다 저저다 라마 초바데 잡고도 와다 뒤에 타고도 아니 다 가자 다 가자 제가 이담 다 가서도 다 사디 주숨다 이담 다 주디시 이담 디가다 그래서 라메체 내주주체 자주체 아니 되나 산제 동체 되나 더 가서도 다 아니 내외스진 게 저주변의 장세 바바체 아니 랑게체 년도체 아니 바오 칸도 쉬고 다 되게 어쩌다 집어지 장세 수도 어디랬지.
And then the continuing with the quick path description in the front of the central figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, again on a lotus moon and sun disk seat sits our own kind root guru, and our own kind root guru is surrounded by all of those teachers and gurus from whom we have received teachings directly. And then this is very much in keeping with and similar to the Guru Puja description, and also the following, continuing on. Then you see the layers or the rings of the other members of the merit field surrounding all the other members, being the meditational deities, then the four classes of tantra, the highest yoga tantra, the performance or kriya, charya, and then the action or kriya set of tantras, and followed by the Buddhas, the 1,000 Buddhas, for example, of this fortunate eon, and then the 35 Buddhas of confession. And then we have the various sets of the great bodhisattvas, like the 8 close disciples of the Buddha, and then the solitary realizers or pratika Buddhas, and then the hearers or Ashravaka Buddhas, and then following them the different arhats, the heroes, dakinis, dharma protectors, and wisdom beings, etc. And in front of each you will find an excellent small table, a low table, on which are placed the teachings associated with the particular member of the merit field in the form of a text which is in itself in the form of pure clear light.
다 조선 세대도 다 모두 타가되는 근데 이래 사람 봤도 그래서 남가 탐제 강대겠지. 어떤지
So when we visualize a merit field, it's very important to move away from any kind of two-dimensional idea, but rather it's a three-dimensional live scene which is filling the entire space in front. And so then out of the merit field also we see an inconceivable array of emanation bodies spreading out in all directions to wherever living beings can be tamed. And so it's not a static situation, it's a very, very busy kind of like thoroughfare really of emanations leaving the merit field, go and benefit work for sentient beings, and then returning as well constantly. So it's a very, very busy scene.
다 라마 투베 옴베 투가 혼레 외세 트베산 다 라싱이 내네 다 그자 라마 투베 옴보다 다 초신 용조가 투가 혼레서 트산단데 외세 트베 라싱이 내네 공바다로 이시바 젠자 다다다 담시 바로와 다 이시바 젠자 오 이시바 젠자 어디래서.
And so then at the crown of each of the at the crown of each of the members of the merit field is a white Om, at the throat is a red A, and at their heart is a blue Hung. And these are kind of really seen as a vibrant, luminous as we visualize them. And that from the heart center of the main figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha emanates from the blue Hung light rays, and light rays go out into the Dharma Dhatu, inviting all the wisdom beings. And indeed that these light rays can be seen to emanate not just from the blue Hung at the heart center of the central figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, but from all members of the merit field, inviting the wisdom beings from their natural abodes. And that this is accompanied by the prayer which says, "You who became Lord of all beings, you the deity who destroyed the terrible Mara and his armies, O blessed victor with perfected knowledge of all things, please come here together with your retinue. O blessed victor, for countless eons you practiced compassion out of love for beings."
다가는 시에도다 진짜 아니 남래 지금 랑게 아니 타고도야 아니 랑라 진짜 마진가 심지 탐제 다까지 마사와 매바 요섬사자 어디죠.
And so when we are doing this also we're inviting, or we're visualizing not just the merit field in front, but surrounding us are all kind mother sentient beings.
어떻게 이어가지 다 뒤지던 거죠. 심지 탐제 요섬사자 제 구요다 이내야 삼로단도 랑게 티나유베 파마 빈자 조고 도모라소베 아니 제 랑다 시라 저와 야보 메딩에 라소베 아니 제 밤에 심제 라소베 어때 전에는 다가제 타이베 심제 탐제 내가 삼다베나 베는 가라서 다들 되더라 나라와린 네 제파인데 다디 넣어져는 저 빅토리아 저 다들 뉴사트웨일 저 왔다까지 이제 전파 이제 삼로 단계이나요. 삼로 도와서 처음에 다 준 것도. 심지어 탐지에서도 야 점점 틀에 이렇게 도나시다 매게 준 것도. 다들 이제 제가 이제 제가 삼 단계이나 또 말아서 쌤도 구조시 되고 여러 다 쏘아.
And so too, in order to really affect some sense of movement or affect a feeling in our own minds, that we need to be able to conceive of the notion of all sentient beings surrounding us in some sort of tangible way. And so here we kind of begin with a sense of concentric circles of awareness of including our parents, our relatives, our friends, those who we know well, those who we don't get on with, we are unfriendly with, those who we are neutral towards, and vice versa, but that they are our kind of field of acquaintance, so that we can really put a face to these all sentient beings. And so then we slowly expand our imagination now to include all the beings in Narre Warren, all those then moving on to Dandenong, out towards the rest of Melbourne, Victoria, New South Wales, and so on, in order to kind of bring some kind of tangible experiential feeling to that idea of all sentient beings. Otherwise it becomes a very difficult notion to get one's mind around, isn't it? And one kind of like can just become blasé about it and not get any really movement in the mind.
심지어 탐지에서 근데 심지어 레리는 검지 약고 매자 심지어 탐지에서 레라부체 심지어 레리는 진짜 도스강에 되기도.
And so, like, for many of us to kind of visualize the notion of all sentient beings is kind of seems to be very automatic and easy, because there's no detail to it. But when it comes to trying to visualize each being in turn, it's quite difficult, isn't it? Put a real face to those beings.
Yeah, what
And then the next part is to visualize the bathhouse, where one then goes through the bathing ritual of all the members of the merit field, and that then is followed by the offering of the 7 limbs and mandala as the practices that contain all the key points for the accumulation of merit and the purification of negativities.
du charabke tanda nyamba tuna ta lu ta yaba tuna chachaye yamena rangi tanda koto kewa katsele yona ana deta tamche ana nyamto tsegu yo samsachi wadana
So the first of these is the practice of prostration, the first of the 7 limbs, the limb of prostration. And here one is encouraged to visualize emanating our emanations of our own body, equal in number to all of the particles in the Buddha realms, and that this then is the physical prostration, and that here also it's an alternative would be to visualize all one's own previous lives, and that all your previous versions of you are there with you doing the prostration. So one can see also that such a visualization of really including all my own previous lives since beginning this time in practices such as purification of negativities could be very, very effective. After all, most of the negativities that I have accumulated have been accumulated in previous lives, all those lives. Yet I have had the same continue right through. And so it makes sense, doesn't it?
안 다가는 시 다랑 주고 멤버잖아. 타입에 다다 랑이 둘라 세트가 타입에 맞게 쓰게 다 체디에 파만네 제가 타입에 맞게 쓰게 탐 제가다 냠도 샤동지고 냠도 아니 자체가 요 삼삼체 소장.
And in this case, we visualize also all kind mother sentient beings, all there together with us, involved in and engaged in this practice of prostration.
And
I think it's very, very important here to have an especially clear awareness and maybe visualization of those sentient beings with whom we have difficult relations with, who we have problems with, and that they are definitely there too.
다 소신남 아니 교육고서 연대 군대도 때려서 근데 이게 되고 이게 차.
어디
더 로버스 때 맞아.
ready 루레레리 go back to
루레레 고바도 고레레레야 아니 가서다 카바도 가서 카바도 매봐 카레레레 제바도 매봐 주는 님이 양게 안 되냐 집에 나게 차 어떻게
So then the verbal prostration is when we visualize that from each of these bodies, equal in number to all the particles in the Buddha realms, that each of these bodies emanate countless heads, each of these heads countless mouths, each of these mouths countless tongues, and that from these tongues are heard melodious praises to the members of the merit field.
대부도야 대부 매바이나 대부 매바나 랑기 류레레레야 아니 가서다 디 가서데 류레레레야 아니 가서 셀스로 가서다 장다냐바 여러봐 디 장다냐바 아니 류뜨체 아니 디 아니 다 아니 류다 류뜨네 아니 류데다게 다 류레레 카레 용으로와 아니 데네 줘봐 제바이나 로로 대야요 저잖아 나 진짜 류치라 카만 보치도 소나 또 때문에 용식으로와 야 로라 야 디면다 먼저 수부 레레라 애톰 장에 되어 이거 있자 셀 장에 되어 이거 있자 아니 데다 셀 레레라 아니 류레레 제잖아 근데
So then an alternative visualization for that verbal part of the prostration, because it can be quite, I suppose, difficult to visualize, countless heads coming from a particular body, and then countless mouths, and then countless tongues from each of those mouths, isn't it? It's quite an ask. And so Geshe-la is recommending also that if you're uncomfortable with that, one can visualize that you are emanating countless bodies equal in number to all the cells in your own body. And so you can visualize that countless bodies one body is arising from each cell of your own body with one mouth, and they're all reciting these praises. If that's easier.
Yeah, yeah, lola chate. Tumada luchela kama mo. Ngarazo namdo mangusu kera tokpade. Sha ya ko muna tana ke namdo mege namdo dama je ba ina ta ko tiktik ko bata. Ko zo de jawal lapchi botu beche do bata. To da zo de. Ine ngarazo namdo ge ya jesu tang den.
That's right, yeah. So even though, of course, the whole purpose is to be able to accumulate vast merit through these huge numbers of heads and mouths and tongues that are doing these praises, yet we have the mind that's very kind of like superstitious or suspicious, isn't it? Like we generate sort of objections to things very easily. So when you have this notion of these countless heads coming from one, countless mouths coming from each head, countless tongues coming from each mouth, and so on, you can start this kind of like objecting conversation very easily in the mind. It can't handle that. So therefore you be able to kind of, I guess, design the visualization that is more comfortable for your own mind, and that to bear in mind that the idea is to be able to expand the accumulation of merit as much as possible.
다다디 가서데 다다디 상주 나로라 상주 상주를 가라
The King of Prayers.
king of prayer 나 와다 개부여 와다데 와다 용도 와다데 다가제 간제제 다가제 총 납침부 사이치도 이나다 총 납침부 사이 개치슈되다 장주가 생베스베스고다 다 개치슈도 와 장주가 생베스베스도 걸 납침부 용거래 아니 데이터 투베 도나 다데 아니 저거 가서다 다 삼로 다배 뉴도 sol 앞쳐 보사다 제 탑나줘거나 지금 여러다 탑나줘거나 다 지금 어때 어다 개발지 무슨 주도 있어요 어떻게
So that again is recommending the reading of the King of Prayers as a wonderful imaginative means of being able to accumulate vast quantities of merit. But of course the most essential component for the accumulation of such merit is to combine everything with the mind of enlightenment, the bodhicitta attitude, and that this is like in order to be able to quickly accumulate such merit, that mentality too, that mind of enlightenment mentality makes use of every kind of means, as can be seen here in these kinds of visualizations.
아니 가서 찾아와네 아니 분석길에 제외 준비하고 타에 들어서 왔고요 소말에 시제 지시 시베도 시제做得了 고자세 잠바토메 인연 남주대 언제
So that then the mental prostration is follows the one's awareness that the merit field have the kind of are seen to really affect the eradication of all fault and the establishment of all good qualities in our mind streams. And so we bow down with the mind as the mental prostration with that in mind. And so we prostrate through the three doors of body, speech and mind. And then this is accompanied with the following verses. I bow my head to the Buddha, king of the Shakyas, whose body is made of 10 million perfect virtues, whose speech fulfills the wishes of infinite beings, and whose mind comprehends exactly all knowable objects.
공정 파와 yapsete samotave gyula ni chaatse losa da kasada da kaja jizu jambe yana chen da ko kumulu tu chen da de ma gyube samota gyuge lama kasada lama na la che tuje chembo teshe doje cha chose de lo ba da na ro ba becho tombe ba da adesha nyamle chila gyube no da de te mo so chosinga to da nyamle chila gyube lama je me me te je te me ki mo mo chambe ya 가지 개발 조절로 종합화서 로상 잡으셔라 샤서 지준 참배 양제 가주배 지준 참배 양제 가주배 도주 자수 배다 원주시 로상 추기 도사 지배죠 자 가서 참배 자수 샤라 차서 로서 자군제 더 마티 라마 규베레도 자군제 개바차 개레 어디 안되죠
And then following in the verses of praise at this point, in the context of prostration, to the different sections of the merit field that you're visualizing. So following on from that praise to the central figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, and then I bow down to the lineage of vast practice or extensive practice. And so naming then some of the principles of that that grouping to the right of the central figure, such as Maitreya, Asanga, Vasubandhu, Vimuktisena, Varasena, Vinitasena, Yashasena, Haribhadra, the two Kusalins and Suvarnadipa. I bow down then to the lineage of the profound view on the left, the fathers and their spiritual sons, Manjughosha, Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Buddhapalita, Chantakirti and Vidyokokila, who destroyed the extremes of existence and non-existence. Then above, I bow down to the lineage lamas who bless our practice, the consecrated practices lineage, the great compassionate Sugata and Vajradhara, the excellent seers Tilopada and Naropada, and the great glorious Dompipada and Atisa. I bow down to the feet of Avalokiteshvara, treasure of non-conceptual compassion, of Manjughosha, lord of stainless wisdom, and Losang Drakpa Lama Tsongkhapa, the crown jewel of the learned of the land of snows. And then I bow down to the feet of Jampil Gyatso, who through practicing the words of blessed Manjughosha achieved magnificent mastery of the ocean of Sutra and Tantra and became the beautiful ornament of the Dharma assembly of the wise.
Sambu Chen Shala Chatsalo, Yawakunja Sube Chuna Tuna Nyamsul, Lambetu, Tsejinjila, Doji Kunyava, Chime Nejo Chola, Chatsalo, Baden Lama, Deje, Mutuku, Kula, Jense Losan Doji Chang, Japson Kundu, Jesu Tubeco, Losan Tutu, Shala Chatsalo. Once a 2 year Mulam Tubeto, Data Losan Debe Nimbuzi, Kantu Panglan Teve. Nejoba, Sanje Nishi Shala Chasalo, Gele Yude Mali Julian, Timir Casa Timir Losan Debe, Kansas, Chuji Jensen Bayuja, Bandela Meshala Chasalo, Kunjo Suki, Chese Chitume, Gawani, Ludo Tam Chuji, Shedu Jensen Chojuba, Yonzenta Meshala Chasalo, Jamne Kudu Lama Dojicha, Gala Katu, Shenye Tsusuna, Chota Tubo Mudo, Joseph, Lama Nala Chasalos.
And then that prayer continues to go through the different lineage of lamas that are also connected here. I bow down to the feet of the glorious lama who through the power of cultivating the 2 accumulations of virtue achieved the excellent state of the glorious 4 bodies, and through his good activities never forsook his disciples. That's Kedrup J. And then I bow down to the feet of Losang Zangpo Tseten, who is like a second glorious Nagarjuna, Lord of Dharma, elegant in the exposition of the meaning of the infinite Dharma, like the top ornament of a victory banner amidst many adepts. I bow down to the excellent yogi Chime, who achieved the Vajra body. Who achieved the Vajra body in a single lifetime through the power of practicing the combined essence of the Dharma teachings of all conquerors. I bow down to the feet of glorious Losang Dondrup, revered emanation body of the noble-minded Vajradhara, embodiment of the 3 refuges, and who gave to all living beings all the accomplishments of great bliss. I bow down to the feet of Asangye Yeshe, yogi free from negating, proving, rejecting, and accepting, who grasped the essence of the teaching of Tsongkhapa by the power of aspiration and prayer in former lives. I bow down to the feet of my glorious Lama, possessing the glorious qualities of holding the Dharma banner, topping the house of the stainless doctrine of Tsongkhapa, which is the source of all virtue and good qualities. I bow down to the feet of my holy teacher, excellent holder of the banner of explanation and practice, of scripture and realization, of the holy doctrine of the second Buddha, the epitome of the wisdom and compassion of the 3 jewels. I bow down to my kind lamas, themselves the Lama Vajradhara, embodiment of the 3 refuges, who having taken the form of spiritual teachers to train any disciple, bestow the common and excellent accomplishments.
고좀 때 진짜 좀더 조조 지대라 스지와다 상조 못했어. 조조 지대나 두서 조금이 생기고 다제 말로도 다 류다가 다 차지고 있었다. 이제 어디를
And so then that's followed by two further verses of praise to the unsurpassed teacher, the precious Buddha, to the unsurpassed protector, the precious Dharma, to the unsurpassed guide, the precious Sangha. I bow down to the three jewels for refuge, and also to all those worthy of salutation. With as many bodies as atoms in all lands, I bow down to all Buddhas, with a mind directed to all Buddhas by the power of the vow of the practice of the Bodhisattvas. And then it begins then the combination of the prostrations through the three doors of body, speech and mind, combined with the recitation of the relevant verses from the King of Prayers. And the first of these is, you lions among humans, gone to freedom in the past, present and future, in the world of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech and sincere mind, I bow down. And so this is taking the prostration in general, and the verse is really saying here that one does not simply visualize Buddhas here in this verse as existing in one place or at one certain time, but in all 10 directions, meaning everywhere, and in all of the 3 times, meaning at all times. We visualize and focus on all the Buddhas, and in this way go for refuge with respect through the 3 doors. And so then following this, and in accordance with the King of Prayers, the following verses will also provide the visualization for prostration through each of the doors in turn. And so the first of these, in verse number 2, will deal with the physical prostration. And it reads, with the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, and with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. So here saying through that, really emphasizing that when we go for prostration, like here to understand the purpose of, the meaning of prostration is very, very important, that accompanies your actual physical act of prostration. And so here then the verse describes that we keep in mind, we kind of in our visualization we have this gathering of all Buddhas, of all conquerors at all times, all places, and really visualizing, as it says here, visualize as real, as being really there, and that here we emanate bodies as numerous as atoms of the world in going for prostration. And it says also here that our motivation should be powered by an awareness of, an appreciation of the sublime activities, enlightened activities of all the members of the merit field.
다 이게 차네 두지 때나 싶어 다 직제디 직제 직대서 뒤 차라고 리레 때네요 아니 리레 때나요 뒤 탐제게 장단내면은 산제 라사 장세 좋고 위는 슈고 대다지 윤대 제수 때문에는 몇바퀴 맞춰서 이렇게 보자.
The next verse deals with the mental prostration. And it reads, on every atom are Buddhas numberless as atoms. Each admits the host of bodhisattvas. And I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. And so here again, the notion of the Buddhas numberless as atoms. And these are surrounded by all bodhisattvas, and really, and we are like going for refuge with the mental element of that is generating a faith and deep appreciation through recalling all the wonderful enlightened qualities of all the members in that visualization.
다 나게 차는 대단가 봐시베 다 같이 상주가 직대다 직제 직대서 다 뒤도다의 유인의 유인데 안가 봐 세미시바 류리레레 고파도메 고레레레야 카파도메 마카레레레 제파도메 주네 안 가서 니베 야게 제바오자 대다 양네 되바 이베 대 양라네 양라 네서 주대 제오스다 요에 제바 지게를 되는 요구라 어디서
And the fourth verse deals with the verbal prostration. It reads, with infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you gone to bliss. And so here again the meaning is that these endless, as it says here, the infinite oceans of praise to the objects of the merit field, the objects of refuge. And here again the body emanates countless heads, which emanate countless mouths, which emanate countless tongues, which are singing these melodious praises. And here singing here is referred to praise, and that and this praise is affected by, you know, the prerequisite for praise are these visualization of the tongues. This tongue is the agent for making the sounds. Likewise, when the term ocean is used here, you know, oceans of praise, oceans of sound, just simply to indicate a vast amount, a large quantity. And endless praise. And very, you know, like an ocean which is vast and deep, very deep. Then the second of the 7 limbs is the limb of offering, and this offerings will be extensive, vast, and they are usually divided into offerings that are ordinary and then offerings that are unexcelled. And so the first of these sets is described in the next 2 verses. And so they are beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array I offer to you, victorious ones. And in fact, those 2 verses are dealing with the ordinary offerings.
어디라다 샤치제니다 메도 담바니 하다 미여서 하다 미 메도 중아 시와 가서 시만남 소사 태완에서 메도 나서 배대 규바대에서 되니까야 그다 뭐다 좀 탐제 도스다 뭐다 야 로이 죄네 피해 되는 거다 어서 또저 신년에서 비용알아서 왔다 로모 규제 소바다 동다 림보라 소바서 비와 그래서 장아 강아라 소바 동하다 그러다 딩샤 소서 조안남 소서 다 같이 다 로마나 소바 줘봤다 어때 저 주변에서 배시보 대구대 도천에서 그랬다 도천 도 남제 소고 다 같이 우리 다 같이 도 좋고서 다 마음에 내서 다 마음에 내서 뼈마라 소바사 지시바 의세와다 노부르부치에서 노부르부치 년세 몸에시 받다 의세와 또나 소다 같이 에너지 가서다 그래서 또 마음에 들다가 지다 세베랑 세지로다 그러고다 다 해봐지 어떤지 어떤 즉 가서도 몸바세 에너 가서다 다디 디세 가서다 또 나고다 되도 또 마통하다 통화세 좀 그러다 근데 딱 이제 어떤데 딱 이제 인주 마음에 비우스데 인지 민지 춤이 피고 했게 인사 말이다 이네 노부 외치 못인데 딱 그때 이거 이네 로다 지금 그러다 어떤데 딱 이제 지금 어떤데 시야산 인생 뭐마시 받다 위에서와 비워나 소스 어떤데
So these verses then, a little more explanation as to what is presented in these verses. And so here the flowers, the fine, beautiful flowers. Here one can see that these are like an astonishing array of multicolored like petals that are offered by celestial beings as well as human originated flowers. They can be seen also to be arranged in garlands, as it says there. And these garlands like threaded petals or interwoven buds and flowers, again multicolored, various. They are again both actual and they can be imagined. One can use one's imagination here. Then with regard to the sweet music, this is a whole orchestra of instruments that one can visualize with the wind instruments of the sitar or the vinud, the lute, and then the wind section of conch and flute. One can have the percussions of clay drums, metal drums, and the beating of bells and cymbals. And indeed, these are really a beautiful, harmonious kind of like music. The ointments, the scented oils there are like aromatic pastes. The parasols are the very most best and beautiful of umbrellas and parasols. And the sparkling lights, these can be from butter lamps, which are scented butter, and also sweet scented lights, and then like even gems and precious stones that sparkle so brightly that they're very seen to be very bright both in the day and in the night. And here also one can include the whole notion of this beautiful, powerful light dispelling the darkness of ignorance and unknowing, of revealing that which has not yet been revealed. And so you include that meaning in it. The incense, it says here, sublime incense. It can be coming from pure incense sticks of aloe wood or daruka resin, etc.
지당에 그래서 뒤그 출라 소반나 소사 치마 후반에서 뼈신비로서 치마 또 왔다 십시다 아니 가서 도도로 해서 투부 제방 스타까지 투부 제방 아니 긴고 집에서 최제배 리바사 가서 야당나 리압다 냠바고 스타까지 저한테 배다 가서 다 해봐지 어떤지 아니 고반에서 고마군지 탈조와 때에서 배치와다 저와 나소바 정모죠.
And then to continue that, the clothing that's mentioned, fine dress, here really is the most beautiful clothing of the finest, most superb fabrics that are to be found. The sandalwood powder, fragrant perfumes, and here these are, such of such power and subtlety that they can diffuse into the 3,000 great world systems, and that the sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru can be the aromatic perfumed powders, which can be scattered, or it can be wrapped in parcels, or it can be piled like the coloured sands that one uses for making sand mandalas. And so they are all there, beautifully arrayed in piles, and it says here as high and as wide, with the same heft as Mount Meru. And so the objective in describing all these offerings is that when in our visualization that they are also arranged or arrayed in a beautiful, harmonious way, that it's very appealing, that there's great variety there, that everything is of absolute top quality in what we're doing, and great quantity.
딱 이제 리럽 유에다 매디 개치모 말이 이제 다 리럽 단냐 봤을 때 다른 거죠 리럽 세지 셰디가 여러 다 잡는 용다가 리럽 선트레요 아 디단냐 봤을 삼다 이러는데 뭐다 리럽 요 말이 사면 남도 리에고 와 근데 삼도 다 먹어 보지 그래서 다다든 가라 쪽에 아니 저 로이 주인이다 초밥에 야채부 등사부 피고 여보 인자 아니 리럽 단냐 봤을 가서 리럽 세지 셰고서 다 디단냐 봤을 요거다 야채 못 지금
Yes. And so they mention here of sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, might cause some criticism. People maybe don't accept the existence of Mount Meru, but that's not the point here. It's really used as an image of scale, isn't it? That vast amounts of sandalwood and incense, very, very large amounts. That's what really it stands for. Kind of countless or limitless amounts.
아니 다가는 시간 다데고 로무 방법표 로무 그 자체적에 대바실라서 추게 남다 뭐 대한 거지.
And that with the
로무 그 디지털 말아서 디샤 로무스도 참밖에 해서 로아 가서 년종게 정주가 생기면 양다가 따와게 따가지 추라 쪼아패서.
And the music that is played by this varied orchestra of instruments is not anything like from the top 10 or anything like that. It's modern music, which is really about generating attachment and desire, but rather one hears from the music actual teachings on renunciation, on impermanence, on developing the mind of enlightenment, on the correct view of emptiness. The four Arya truths and so on.
What are the children? Tatane, right? And it's children Tatane, and Casola Takacha, Rota, that's su going by in a Casola Takacha, Casola, Dawaki, and De Tombati.
And so that yes, so each note is really sounding the Dharma teachings, and that whoever hears it can develop a bliss from which arises emptiness, and we see that they can abide in the non-dual bliss and voidness.
다데네 라나 메베 초반데서 라나 메베 초반데서 초바 강남 셔소베다 그저 다데지 직제다 라나 요반에 직대베 초바 이라 데네서 장조 선발로 소베서 투젠 남제서 상구트나 다 직대베게다 지 초바 다 지 가서 초바다 직대베 초바다 직대베 강가 롱체 투에 초바지 아니 바 상구트니 약게 주바 오자 지금 타마 니네서 고마데니 마상와 탐제라 차데 차다 초바 당하서 꼴로 가서 꼴로다 유도 바 오자.
The next verse from the King of Prayers deals with the unexcelled offerings, the unsurpassable offerings. And here it reads, with transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. And so here it's saying, here the ordinary offerings are those offered by ordinary beings. But here it's distinguishing the unsurpassable or unexcelled offerings as those really coming from, emanated from the great power of the Bodhisattva and the Bodhisattva intention. And so, yeah.
가라서 초밥이나 뭐비나 대다가 투기를 거두이네 대화 유여 말에 대화 동바트 봐 이럴 때 이내 나한수 그 초밥이 할 때는 중수 삼아 마오바라 라니라 심지 탐제가 또 와다 되게 동바줄에 기에게 규투에 지켜 봐요 봐.
So that again, the final two lines in that particular verse, which read, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. It said here that can be applied as a sort of refrain to all of the previous verses so far recited as well. And indeed, as pointing out that at the conclusion of our offering limb, that it's very important that we are aware that the merit field, all the members of the merit field have both accepted our offerings and are extremely pleased by those offerings, such that they generate bliss from which arises emptiness, and they can abide in the non-dual bliss and emptiness. And that this is very auspicious, and that after all, the members of the merit field don't need our offerings. It's not like the way we get pleased when we get a gift, but that it is indeed to create the auspicious conditions of the blessings of the merit field for us to be able to generate the realizations in our own mind stream, so that we can benefit sentient beings in the future. And similarly, in the prostration limb, through our prostration, that this again generates this unity of non-dual bliss and emptiness in the mind streams of all the members of the merit field also.
다 뒷바 샤바네 라제 나제게 뒷바 라자 하루 코바 도송 왔다 아니 괴sem다 진짜 쏠라베다 미자냐베 동생 양나 양도 따다 어디를 따나 아니 가서 론종세 다 소소 뒤주여나 아니 가서 동송 소소 답이나 지금 쏘다가 동바이 말에 장생거 동바이나 상하 동바다 라소베 동바 순가게다 지금서 된다 어서다 소소기에서 샤반에서 참소 라마서 가서 도지 마 장주 동사 소서 도시 샤동 강조 자고래서 왔다 강조 저거다 자고래서 왔다.
And so that then the third limb is the limb of the purification, confession and purification of negativities. And so here, here we must first of all consider the negativities that we have really previously accumulated, that are in our mind stream as if we had swallowed poison. And that we also must conjoin that again and again by thinking of the mind of restraining from ever engaging in these negativities again, even at the cost of our lives. And that said, if one has the time during this limb to do the confession in accordance with the three restraining vows. So according to the Pratimoksha tradition, the Bodhisattva vows and the Tantric vows. So one can start with the prayers, or Lama Vajra holders, or from the confession of downfalls, falling from the path to enlightenment, etc., and to always engage in the practice of purification with the four opponent powers. And also to really have the conviction that after the practice that one really has purified, my negativities have been purified.
나라도 대화 주변 나라도 동네에 공부하자도 아니 맞아 그 동네 교 셋업 제 대외 주주다지도 콘솔 코나서 툴 기부 용거로 왔다. 기부 용거로 와. 그래서 어다 대대 잡아도 코나서 투규라 대화도 대통령 수비 시켜서 어디서 공부하시나 야고도.
And again, through the process of our sincere confession and purification, that we also witness the pleasure of the merit field, from which arises the bliss, from which arises the emptiness, and they are seen to abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. Because after all, this purification of ours is an offering to them, because the members of the merit field have no other thought but to see us generate virtue and to purify negativity, because their only concern is our happiness. And so when we are doing that, we are like making an offering to their only sole and highest aspiration, and so it's bound to bring pleasure and bliss to their minds.
다 저거 마샤와이나 아니 랑규기 연den가라 아니 마케바 사도 게투 마제 게반 남자 아니 냠도고 요래 된데 유사 냠도고 유사 도시 아니 랑기에서 나제게 디발라 아니 코바 도송아 때문에 교세다 치제 소라 베자미제 냠베 돔세 닝타바네 제나 랑규기 요데 나르 마케바나 사도 게바나 콤페도 조에 아사 뭐지 기부 당반나 제사 딱가서 틱동 샤발라사 투시 좀 다 개체부 지원이시 시도 지금 여러서 투시 시도 최대 조어 별도 준비해서 남가라 네바서 참모시 중세 중주 또 다와서 데마타 또 어떻게 좀 네바지 중 요사요사 되게 되게 잠이 중앙에 남자 아니 다 제가 앞에 최대 남편으로 뒤뒤에 샤도 나고요 받아 어떻게 좀 데마타 아니 쳐봐 그 쳐봐 나길 때는 매대표 샤바세와 대신 어떻게
And so it says here that these, if we are not really purifying, or from really sincere really about purifying, not from the depths of our heart, regretting the previously accumulated faults and not serious about not doing them again, in other words, not generating that mind of restraint going forward, then it says that we will not be able to generate newly any good qualities of mind that have not yet been generated, and that those that have already been generated will deteriorate and debilitate. And so it's very important and that through really generating the conviction that the negativities in my system are like a poison and that I need to get out of my system, that we generate a profound sense of regret, recalling the negativities that we have previously generated, and combining that with a sincere mind of restraint, say I will not engage in such negativities again. And that if we are sincere about it, and then of course the converse is true, that the qualities of mind that we have yet to generate it will be newly generated, and those good qualities of mind that we have will increase and flourish. And this is something that has been demonstrated by the great holy beings of the past, and so it's something that we should try to follow very, very carefully. And this is very much kind of like something that was a very powerful example shown by the great Lama Atisha, that when he was coming to Tibet, for example, that any time, or even a very tiny fault was seen to occur, he would stop and he would engage in an immediate process of confession, purification, making offerings and making mandala offering.
다 그래서 대셔서 코버디 토 시바이나 다 디토 샵도 맞아 디 안에 안 소소 시바이나 년출 기그래 손에 다 대셔도 가정도 안에 신규 최대 신 남내서 채도 아니 샵도 세게 요라 샵도 세 안 딕도다 샤도 미도와 다 지금 대대기 네바 싸와데 그디 네바 마고 맞지 잘라 고바 있네 그래서 고바 중앙 이마이네 니마 도마 좋아지 다가라가 니마 봐 작동 전에 좋아 작동 민도와 그래서 샤도 민도와서 인수가 보다 샤도 민도와 정해 봐도 작동 난거 요소다 수고 요소도
So he would be extremely conscientious, of course, about purifying even a suspected fault that had occurred immediately, and saying here that if now we can go on, he says, if I had died before confessing, I would have been born in a lower realm. And also he seemed to always, whenever he went, he was carrying his stupa with him, a wooden stupa, and used that as the object when he was immediately purifying, saying, I am not associating with leftover downfalls. And so not to let the sun go down on negativity, but purify it is very, very important.
다디가 먼저 때문에다 지준 뒤에 냠레스 다가 나가다 가서도 권하주고 나야지 말아줄 때 지구를 다서 다 되는 거 열와 다 되는 거 열지 말아주 강투도 제리 개침버려도 다 지금 내가 대주네 야고래 그때 매와 있네 샥도 가봐 있네 제초야 돼 가봐 있네 제초야 돼 어떤 그렇게 가서다 같이 지금 초주가 사제의 창조서 바탕제 유효삼삼지 듀얼티제 아니 되네 아니 듀얼티 아니 샤톰 젠다 다들 초신 세트다는 시제는 아니 세트업 안 세트업네 세트업 젠다 베네 차저 수위 개고 삼로 담아도네 뭐다 듀얼 사게 좀 되대 세트 사게 좀 되대다 뭐라고 진짜 잡아 뭐 남아 또 마셔지 또 맞대 산제 탐제가 다니도 때잖아 아니 뒤에는 샤톰 지에 아니 초주야 상게 탐제 유효삼사진에 샤톰 제쪽으로 왔다 간제 전에 다 대제 중에 야보래 그때 마주한데 대 마주나 아니 샤동 지에 매마다 샤동 거투이래 다 지역으로 와 어디지
And that here again it's extremely important that the holy beings of the past were engaging in such examples of practice for us, as examples of practice, as what to do in our own practice. And so it's very important that we emulate the good example that they have shown. And that means that we should really have the habit of purifying whenever we are aware of a fault occurring. And not to be too concerned about having everything in place before we can actually do our purification practice. It's perfectly allowable to purify at any time, in any place. That you can simply visualize all the Buddhas of the 10 directions and surrounded by bodhisattvas or the merit field itself, or even the Buddha alone in front of you and engage in the practice there. And the Buddha is the kind of embodiment of all your gurus and so on. And that you can purify in that way. And also the example of Lama Tsongkhapa himself, of course, that when first he was engaging in very amazing, like a really seriously deep practice in Cholung Gompa, and concentrating on the purification.
Woka
Chulung. Woka.
I think Loka side maybe, not sure.
In Loka, the district of Loka, and and engaging, concentrating on purification and accumulation of merit practices. And he was making a huge effort. He had an actual visualization of the Buddha Nagendra Raja, and then following that, all the rest of the 35 Buddhas of confession and purification. He had that visualization. So it's again, a kind of an indication for us to emulate the efforts and the concentrations and so on of the holy beings of the past in order to make for effective purification. So it's very commensurate with very powerful purification practice that once one purifies both negativity and obscuration, and then that facilitates the visualization of to get visions of, for example, the 35 Buddhas or the holy beings from the past. So this is how it occurs, and of course they don't appear to us because we're so obscured, and we have a lot of purification to go before we can get those visions. And so that is not to say that we should have as our main objective to get visions of these 35 Buddhas or the holy beings of the past. This is not the objective of purifying negativities. The objective of purifying negativities is purifying negativities, and so we really make sure that we're properly focused on that, because otherwise, if we have this kind of massive hope that we will get these magical visions, that it may well be that we'll get visions of non-human demon-like entities in the form of Buddhas, etc. That will completely mess up our practice. Very, very, very dangerous. And that is saying that it's so important then to, if we have statues, that they are tankas and all it's very important that they are blessed and consecrated and filled with mantras and so on, because if they're left empty like that or unconsecrated, that they may be possessed by non-human entities. And one day you'll come in and you'll see the Buddha speaking, and you'll go, "Oh, how amazing! The Buddha is speaking," but that's not the Buddha at all. It's some demon. Very dangerous.
고불루도 통고도 사 배워래 고불루도 통고도 아니 가사 안다 근데 산재요 밤에 다만 뭐 시에도 통고도 쓰네 송중고도 쓰 그래서 아니 다에 것도 기자 팀 봐. 그냥 대 고불루 통되게 다와디 다에 거 그래 total 노르죠리 어디 고불루 좀 많이 됐어.
And again, I said, well, years ago he met with one person, a Tibetan, who said that he was getting visions of Nagarjuna and Arya Sangha.
No, Nagarjuna and
Arya Deva?
Sanjay Obama. Buddha,
Amitabha Buddha.
Sanjay Mabuke Shekdo. In that, Nagarjuna, Kiran Nagarjuna, get a tease. And Tavako Kaji get a team, and Kanga Takamari. Or did Nagarjuna.
So he was saying, Kurang,
get a TV. Meeting got two around, get a TV. Tawako get a dot TV, and Kiran Nagarjuna, they get a tea like and Korang did landed Norjore.
And so again, I was saying, I'll ask some questions of Nagarjuna through you, know. And but the answer that came was completely wrong. And so I'm saying, I don't think you're getting visions of Nagarjuna.
Nagarjuna's darkness will make it away to
Oh yeah. If it was really Nagarjuna, then there'd be no doubt about the middle way view.
So true.
Det så sangjonne jungwa da det sigte det dikba shaye sigte ne gyutuk som la denne
som så som denne døja seg da så rota denne altså døja seg så sigte sigte så da gyutuk som la denne altså silula så som det rasin kenne 다지 집어대 대야 산지 들베 말로
디디르
어제다 되셔서 데모 온진데서 되자셔다 데모 온데 류당한테 대신 이자 디바다 집어지 집어 대다 탄자다 소소샤 소다 소소샤
And so the corresponding verse in the King of Prayers for the purification of negativities reads, "Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you." And so here, referring to the three poisonous attitudes of attachment, aversion, or attachment, anger and confusion or ignorance, and through the three doors, body, speech and mind, all those acts that we have done. And that means whether we have done them ourselves, whether we have got other people to do them, whether we have rejoiced in others doing those negativities. Again, all those negativities, whatever there are, I regret them and confess them.
뒤반에 지치와 셔바다 가리 바이네 생초라 대다 니에서 대다 니에서 미데 미데너서 나마 교진 치말라 돈베 셈제서 닌 타반에 샤나 나제 펴와체 나제마다야 문제는 디바들이 드링기 지게는 선니 전에 나니 시제야 펴주고 펴와체지 치마 나와서 초체와다 로다 치마 마요에 초체 조예 어디게 알리 당부 디바 다발에 디게차도 또 자자차도 또 디바 다에 게서 들리 게차도 디바 페몬도 와체 마오발에 디바 사도 마요 디게차도 근데 되네 여바도 마상도 제고라 초체 네발에서 라도베 domse 잡으면은 나는 거서 미셔보 미베도 렌체자 죄죄 dom바 기오시 죄자 디바 미제베 땡도사 다 디바 마 세베 땡도 아니 주마체 차부도다 마비셰 도와 주마베 예바 중화사 그 자체 제발에 소도와 자체 텔레 소사.
And so here then, yes, the to really recall the negativities that we are ourselves responsible for. That is, whether we've done them directly ourselves or got others to do them or rejoiced in their doing. That's what we kind of think of. Whatever negativities there are, those that I can recall and those that I can't in previous lives and so on, that I adopt this twin approach of profound regret, of really kind of like feeling that's personal responsibility of regretting what I have done. And the mind guarding the mind by really taking kind of a vow to not engage in such negativities again, and really do this kind of really from the depths of one's heart. Said if that is effective, it has the effect of stunting those negativities and stopping them from proliferating, because the negativities that we have accumulated, as long as they're not purified, will increase in their power, in their effectiveness in our system. So this means, like, when we purify effectively, it stops that process of their getting more dangerous and greater in our system. And of course the mind of restraint will stop our engaging in those negativities again, which is even more important, not just to kind of have them proliferating. And so here it's incredibly important that we engage in such practice with absolute sincerity, because it says here that according to the great commentary on the Vinaya, that if we do not really intensively restrain the mind from engaging in negativity again, if we're not quite serious about it, even though we say that, oh yeah, I'm never going to do this again, but if we aren't serious about it and actually do it, then we not only incur the fault of that negativity, but we have also incurred the fault of lying, because we have vowed not to do it again. So it's very important that we are very sincere when we say, I will not engage in such negativities again in the future.
믹스에게 에는 거저 초하게 신도 초신데 다 소소게 잡내 군들로 와. 잡내 다 땡기 잡내로 와. 다 뒤뒤나 준시와이나 다 뺏사와. 남주 가라도 배미 셈 예보지게 소소 정보 양보지게 되래. 에는 준시와이나 정보 가게 말봐야. 정보들이 이쯤에 차기로 와. 다 딜레 계셔와. 라는 배 땡기 잡내. 뒤뒤나 다 딜레 잡아는 녀봤다. 다좀
And it's very, very important to understand that if we do engage in such insincerity and in front of the merit field, which they're the embodiment of all of our refuge, that is a very serious fault, a very serious lie then, isn't it? And you can know how, if you're deceitful to a close friend and they discover that, how that can create such difficulty, isn't it? And that they will they will lose trust in you from there on in. And so this is the merit field, the embodiment of all our refuge. And so it's very important that whatever we do is sincere and heartfelt.
다 지금 뒤를 못 왔다 마치 못 지금이었어. 다가자 저 보소서 뻥도 렐라 되게. 다또 뻥카가 다 드링 지금이었어. 그래서 아 둘다디 지금이었어. 다와디 지금이었어. 다가자 소소소 담자데 소바이나 아니 그 디마제라 니마도 샤도 고요다.
And so therefore in order to be sincere in what we're promising to avoid in the future, we also need to be realistic. And that means that for the negativities that are easy for us to avoid, we can vow not to ever do them again until death, for example. We can take it that far. But for those that are very difficult for us, we need to be realistic, to say I will avoid engaging in that particular negativity at least for today, or for a week, or for a month. Something that we know we can do. And so this actually then brings meaning to the whole practice of restraining, the mind of restraint. And it's something that we should really consider.
어떻게 딱 이제 배나 니마 찍다 딱 니마 찍다 야고 대야 토바이나 야고 대다 안 가고 어떻게 니마 찍은 거 같대 남주 답에 양세 디버도 사위 요바이나 마디버도 용거 요바이나 어다니 니마 찍 제도서 가고 전에 다 니마 니 대도야 잡로 니마 니 대도 니마 치세 거야 야제 다이 타비 전 니마 찍대 안 되나 돌아 맞아 많이 맞아 가서 타마들라도 뭐지 개치다 때도 맞지 뭐 쏘고 요도 거 야제 당고도
And so we need to be tactical in our approach to the negativities that are really, proliferate in our lives, in our habits, that we again and again engage in. And so that we might take, say, just a day. Say, I will avoid such and such a negativity just for the next 24 hours. And be very, very conscientious about that. But after we have gone past that 24 hours, without doing it, it's very important to acknowledge that, or rejoice. Say, yeah, there was a time I would not be able to have been able to do that, but I can do that for 24 hours. Now I'll try 2 days, and try and do it for 2 days. And so, you increase it slowly, so that, it no longer then after a while appears in your mental system again. And it's very important that we have this goal of, even though we are taking incremental steps to cope with or to handle the very serious and the common negativities, that the ultimate goal is that we want to eradicate those negativities altogether, because of course we need to do that in order to attain enlightenment.
컨트롤다 다가는 좀 어제 변한 다 잘라스스그래 되게 왔다 니마 찍으니까 잘라스 찍으면서 니마 찍 컨트롤 사면서 되게 집에 야제 다에 답변에 참가고 있는 어떤데 참가고 있는 왔다 된데 그거 매번 쏟아 친구 줘라.
So, like for example, anger might be an issue for us. Jealousy might be an issue for us. Drinking alcohol might be an issue for us. And so then to take this staggered approach, this incremental approach to stopping it completely. So we take it gradually and are able to control it like that.
So what did 점점 어저도 지금 소속의 지금 가서도 다다데 소속의 답변에 저 조고 이면 남이 바이네다 에 보고 다 파마 빈자 가림바로 삼성 어저 지금 소속다 카트에도 매바 차도도 에 샘파보 요거도 와 샘파보 요거도 와다 된데 갈 믹스가 된데 소속의 또 저반 남주 빵마도 왔는데 아니 코라라 소속 자와 야보 여바이나 아니 대체도 딜라 펜베체도 아니 다녀가 자와니네 지금이야 샤와이나 뺀류가 지 뭐요래 또 무대발래 이서 무대발래 오다 코라 내기다 지금 셈다니고 또 보이나다 파마이 바이나다 다 가리 바이네 아니 대체도 소셈 파부요다 이네다 대체도 내다 디 자와니네 지금이야 쓰지 변에 청리 바이네다 야나 가리 바는 오다 남마시 보도다 참 자와니네 동금이었어 딱 남마시 보도 아니 지금 가서라다 지금 미리 견주 자원이네 지금이야 생소르지. 지 여러다. 저 가서 뒤 셈 예보지 뒤라 펜배체도 지원도 소소 도스 뒤 누가 차요 돼.
So in particular instances, like say if we kind of lose friends or a parent or close relatives, that they pass away, and we experience tremendous sadness on that account. It's said to be extremely skillful at that time to make a vow to stop a particular negative behavior of our own, and to dedicate the merit towards that loved one that we have lost. It's said that such a vow has tremendous keeping power at that time, and so one can really for the sake of my friend, relative, and their benefit, I give up alcohol from now until I die. You can make a strong kind of like determination at that point that it can be very, very effective.
다들 제를 뭐죠 공부 양해도 되네. 아니 기도를 못 챙게. 기도를 뭐지 킬린 쪽숨 내줘야 돼. 기도를 뭐지? 기도제. 뭐다 제를 뭐죠 공부 양해를 되네. 남자 샤네. 다 다나부터 촌 니쿠메스. 뭐지부터 니쿠메. 다나서 최마이 베게 싸우는 시기네스. 최다 미투마 최마이 베게 싸우는 시기네스. 다가 되게 남자 쪽숨 줘야 돼. 또 가서 다 믹스해 줘야 돼.
쪽숨
장가 쪽숨 타틴. 장가 쪽 데레데레 민다고 쪽숨 요래. 또 킬레 민다고 쪽숨. 싸우는 니쿠메스. 다 데리네. 다 제르버지 공부하잖아. 데리네. 당가 마시 보고 니촌 쿠구메스. 남네치기 페퍼투비 슈투비스. 가서 다 된제가 라마를 구제게 남았던 거 요르다. 아니 최마이 배치 싸우는 시기면서다. 즉 셰바이는 최다 투마. 최 인게지만도 최다 마투베게 싸우는 시기면서. 게딩 얘기 들리지 중앙이 뭐이나? 아니 담아 포테다가 매버 소로치스. 된제가 플래시하네.
And again, I was recalling at the passing of J. Rinpoche Lama Tsongkhapa, one of his two heart disciples, Kedrub J, he made 13 different heart pledges of what his behavior was going to be like after the passing of his teacher. And one was said that from now on, I will not sleep ever. From now on, I will not say anything that is not Dharma, not engage in any conversation that is not about Dharma or in harmony with the Dharma. And they said there were 13 different commitments that he made at that point out of his tremendous, of course, obviously, the tremendous respect for his teacher. And he said that if I break any of these, may my Dharma protector eradicate me, destroy me.
당군에 전에 라마를 세웠다. 그거 입에 딱 왔다. 다다가니 제가 알아서 파마 빈자 좁어서 다 이제 니 그거면 딱 알아서 랍코다 가 말인데 이내 야다 소소가 지금 남주 지금 또 마티바 가리여 봐이나. 어서 딱딱 마티바 가리여 봐이나. 배는 콘도 사기 메스긴다. 다 가리나 여러 밀지 교주치기 메스긴다. 다 지금 가이네 지금 여러 다 때문에 예바사에 곧인데 지금 각각 중앙이나. 배 랍치 버려.
So obviously, Kedrub J was able to make such profound and deep commitments based on his love and respect for Lama Tsongkhapa, and that it said very good that should one of our loved ones pass away, that we can use that occasion to make our own really strong commitments. Maybe not the not sleep one. That might be too. That might be too much for us. But we can maybe determine not to really get angry or to something in one of our improper attitudes or improper behaviors to put a stop to, not to be so critical or something like that. It'd be good if we developed this kind of habit of doing this. So it's important to consider also that should we take on and really adjust our behavior in such positive ways like this and develop that as a habit, that it will have a commensurate positive effect on those around us, those close to us as well. A good example.
개와 탐제에서 뒤윤도 사베는다. 뒤윤도 사베에서 개와라 나게다 롬셋다고 많이 봐. 님 타고냐서 가와 개와나 뭐다 뭐 집에 개와 탐제 공도 배웠다. 태와교대 두발로려서 gebu seje jeso toba khojela negu jebal ubu debe asa jesu ira khojeba gewa chewa top sumbata de la kone asa.
The next limb of the 7 is the limb of rejoicing. And here it said we rejoice in not only our own virtue, but also the virtue of others, and of ordinary beings, and of Arya beings, of the 3 types, and indeed all virtues that have been accumulated. And we rejoice from the depths of our hearts, ensuring that rejoicing is not infected by pride or arrogance in any way. And if so, it's said that it has the positive effect of increasing our previously accumulated virtue. And there's a kind of examples of the power of rejoicing. One from the text called the Transmission of the Vinaya, where it says, at one occasion King Prasenajit serves the Buddha and his retinue, but the beggar Bhadra rejoices in it and receives more virtue than the king. Nice one.
Because the Jeremy Chenge, the Bavachunga Labje, and Lab Chimbo Jesuit, yes. Because Kalishna Jamu, Lelabu Tonen, because the Kawalap Chimbo took to you. And it Kawasagan, the Rale Topa Toyina, Rana Chakatoya. Rale Topa Maina, Ran Hakatobe Yungutwa. Ran Hakatobe Yungutwa. That they Kawa, never in a Chipato. That did Kawa Yungutwa. That they did what Jesuit and paper. And mix it around us. Tawaya make it so Kawa Chavatazo. Mix it Jesuit, she will get a tilt and also Chatan Kiamudo. No more Kiamudo. I did not cut the Chavar. Since cousin, Koyaboka said Java the Tagas, so that the opposition Chatarwa and could you Chigma?
So, again, J. Rinpoche Lama Tsongkhapa has stated rejoicing as a very powerful practice. He says, small effort, big blessing. And so, very, very important to take that into consideration. That, and they said that if we rejoice in the merit of somebody of higher qualities than us, in their virtue, we get half of the merit that they have accumulated. If we rejoice in the merit of somebody with lower qualities than we get double the virtue that they get. So it's very, very good. And in particular, I guess they're saying to emphasize the rejoicing in the virtue of merit that the people we dislike do. Because that's the hardest to rejoice in. And because it's usually we criticize, don't we? We can say, I dislike them, they're the opposition, therefore they can't do any good, therefore it's wrong. So we only use it to increase our own mental affliction. But if we can turn the tables and genuinely rejoice in their virtue, it's something that's very, very powerful, positive.
Because I'm also Nomu Kesa, Kenella would get Quatica, was it a Kamado by Yina?
Yeah. And so also to recognize that the power of the mental afflictive aspect of our thinking, that if we are not conscientious about closing that door of mental affliction, there's no doubt it stays open and it will take over our mind at that point, isn't it? So rejoicing is a very good one for closing that door. So that if we don't close that door and then negativity arises instead, then that's a loss, isn't it? That's a loss to us, and nobody wants loss.
Because the tikpas the Jongrabe Pambe Jongraba Pamba Pamba Jongraba de la tikpas about Pamba and tikpas Sabas Jongraba Jongtuba.
So even the etymology of that word in Tibetan dikpa, it infers sort of not just downfall, but a loss, fault, loss, deprecation. It's got a very much a kind of an erosive kind of feel to it. And nobody wants that loss.
Yeah, that is
and the means of rejoicing are limitless, isn't it? It's wonderful. All the enlightened activities of Buddhas, of Bodhisattvas, are all so many holy beings all around. We can continuously rejoice in those negativities, and so that gives us wonderful, limitless fuel for rejoicing. And yes, and in all of the in all around the world, the wonderful positive actions of parents raising their children in a good way is great fuel for rejoicing as well. And indeed also all of the wonderful organizations all around the world that are centered on and focused on bringing some benefit to living beings, whether they are religious or not, just whatever organizations there are that are out there doing good work is really all worth rejoicing in from our point of view. There's lots that we can feel positive and rejoice in.
냠내 삐다고 매워인사 용되게 도와 다들 어다 들에 맞은 걸 제마도 어다 소소 구급 중소 다 제에 도스 카보르샤 다 니마인가 많이 참고 요바 인상 가기 들에 편도 제 구급 중소 야보 중소 가 제토바들 제수이나 제 마오발리네 다 가두이네 근데 구급 용나 배 야보로 와 삼사제 용화 쇼스 몰라라 잡제 되잖아 날 제마도 매바 차기 못 와. 생각 제마도 매바 차나 펑보로 와. 그래 교바 미자시 아니 제바데 잡아 미자 야고지 제바 있는 거를 제이도도 제 셰데 셰 와다 잡아 미자시 와 잡아 미자시
Likewise, it says that in the process of rejoicing in our own virtue, that if it overspills into generating any kind of pride or arrogance on our side, not only will that virtue not increase, but it will be wasted. You will lose the benefit of that virtue. There's good advice coming from the compendium of instruction on the section dealing with how to protect one's virtue, where it says, by giving up craving results for yourself, you will thoroughly protect your virtuous action. You should neither regret nor proclaim what you have done. And so this is two important considerations here. That's often maybe in a previous time when you were friendly with somebody, you really helped them out, you did something really wonderful for them, and now they have broken off all relations with you, that they have done something nasty to you in turn, you'd be very likely to regret what you did before. Say, I should never have helped them in the way I did. I was a fool. I was wrong. And that would be wrong in itself. That's terrible to do that. You're losing out on the virtue of the merit that you have accumulated. And so here, never regret a virtue that you have done. Simply consider that, okay, maybe relations are difficult now, but that time when I had the opportunity to help, we were friendly, and it was really wonderful. I was really glad to have taken that opportunity to help, and I hope that I'll have the opportunity to help that person again in the future. That's the attitude to take. And similarly, do not proclaim what you have done. Don't be kind of like selling tickets on yourself, thinking I need to advertise all the good things I've been doing over the last while. Just be quiet about it. That's the best way.
Yeah, because 제바데 대지지 제인스 아니 유마셰지 야 지지 제나 네 제인스 유망부셰데도 유사고베 녜데 제이바 녜데 제이바스카.
Oh yeah, don't be going about this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Making false promises. Yeah.
말마 promise 제 유셰죠. 아니 니마 데켜라 데레로 바 제이바. 아니 키라 데레로 바 제이바서 유셰.
Oh sorry. Oh no, don't be reminding people. About what you've done for them. Remember what I did for you last year? Remember the help? Remember what I gave you last year? All the stuff, yeah. I helped you out of a really deep jam and all that.
What you must say? What? That 소소게 될 집바땅사를 집바땅하다 라와 메게 스코아래. 야나 구샵 야나 지금 아니 제마지 녜들 집바땅나 추점아지 소소를 좀 펜바 라와 메게지. 펜베 라와 중나 아니 소소 개와 납치고 용거 말이야. 근데 라와 메게지. 얘네 그 렌데스한테 그 밀로와래. 소소 꾸노 야보스터 봐 집바땅 그리고 진짜로 와. 진짜로. 안 디모가 먼저 자는 미래 진짜도 아니 디 소소 말이다. 야 먼저 섬도 대제지 가서 미셔버져서 어디 개야 될래지 진지기도 어디 딱딱 말해. 미지 요는 지금 대사로 와. 딜 대사네 다 미셔버려서나 야 들어가자 야 딜래지 되기도 와. 디 가서 디 소소를 옹아 말이다. 미들 옹 차로 와. 섬섬 연구도 디 연구도.
So that in this goes to the heart of generosity, isn't it? That when you have given something, that's no longer yours. That's been already handed over to somebody else, and so you should not have any expectation because of that act of generosity. Your generosity or your acts of virtue shouldn't be tied to any kind of hope for yourself, any kind of expectation for yourself, like that you will get some sort of repayment, that I did you a good turn, therefore you have to do me a good turn, that sort of thing. And so, or that you give something to somebody, and then somebody else comes and you go, okay, you can have some of this. You can't do that. You've already given that away. That's not your possession to give to somebody else. And so, you have to be careful with that.
되네 연구도. 땡갈 도스냐면요. 미세바 정으로 알지 대사로 대로다 되네. 싱도이나 같이 대사로 알 대사로. 그래서 미세바 좀 어때네. 아야 결혼해 봐. 우리 코로나 다요 말에 그만이야 봐.
So mi gente karanga ne kulorwa.
Pero también example 시험이나. 그냥 알래 싱도지 대바이나. 미지 싱도 애플
mi karanga.
애플 시험. 딱 알래 대사로 내 렌사로. 그래서 가서 미세바실래서 오, 야, 그래, 야서 맞지? 근데 코라싱도 말이야.
I've seen this. I've witnessed this happen. People offer me maybe some fruit, and then a third person comes, and the person who's offered the fruit goes, here, you can have some fruit too. From the stuff that they've already offered Geshe. It's no longer theirs to offer. Yeah, once you've given it, it's no longer yours. No double dipping. Only an example. That's only an example.
다 파줘서 렌 사서는 나 먹어라나 꺼내줄러 가봐. 그 렌 사서는 다 홀라와. 다 소주가 말이야. 다 되면서요. 나 소주 고셔져요 말이야.
So once something has been given, that's no longer your possession. It's the other person's, and that it's good to be mindful of that in the process of generosity. If they don't accept it, that's a different thing. Then it hasn't been accepted, therefore it hasn't been given. And so. So let's leave it at that for today. And so that really to take all of what's been described here, as in to take from it any way in which we can improve our own practice in order to refine and make it the best practice we can make it. And then to dissolve the merit field with the outer members of the merit field. And to dissolve the merit field by again seeing how all of the members of the merit field, from the Dharma protectors and wisdom beings and so on, absorb into the layer or stage above, and they come right up until they reach the area where in front of the main figure, our own kind root Lama, surrounded by all those gurus and teachers from whom we have received teachings directly, and they absorb into our own root guru, and then also to the right and left of the central figure, the lineages of the extensive practices absorbing into the figure of Maitreya, and the lineage of profound view absorbing into the figure of Manjushri, and above the lineages of the consecrated practices absorbing into the figure of Vajradhara, and Vajradhara then coming to the crown of the central figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha and absorbing into the Buddha, and then the figures on the right and left absorbing into the central figure of Shakyamuni Buddha, and then our own kind root Lama coming to rest at the heart center of the central figure. And so then we can recite the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha several times for the last remaining figure, there the central figure, and make a mandala offering, 7 limbs prayer, and then invite the central figure, Lama Shakyamuni Buddha, to come to our crown with the prayer, O glorious, precious Root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat at my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. And then the second recitation, that figure coming down through our central channel, and the third coming to rest at our heart center on the upturned lotus sun and moon disc seat that we have prepared. And then make that entreaty to really look after me until I attain the state of enlightenment, to stay with me steadfast until I attain the state of enlightenment. And then through the combination of our own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause with the body of the Buddha, our own body transforms into the physical body of an enlightened being. And then through the combination of our own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the cooperative condition of the Buddha's mind, our own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. So really then consider how our own body, speech and mind have become inseparable from the body, speech and mind of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. And from that realization, bliss arises, from which emptiness arises, from which we can abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. How wonderful I have attained the state of enlightenment today in order to be of maximum benefit to all sentient beings. It's a day of rejoicing. And so that then emanating from the heart center, our heart center of ourselves as a fully enlightened Buddha, rays of light equal in number to all the sentient beings in all of the 6 realms of existence, and those lights absorbing into the crowns of all sentient beings purifies all negativities and obscurations that they've accumulated since beginningless time. They are seen to move through the 5 paths and the 10 grounds of the Bodhisattva and to attain the state of enlightenment for themselves. And wherever they are abiding, that place is purified of all fault and stain and transforms into a Buddha realm. And again, to rejoice that as having attained enlightenment, now I have fulfilled the purpose of all sentient beings and led them into the state of enlightenment. How wonderful. I know I'm only doing this at the level of imagination now. It's not for real, but I make a powerful dedication that it will quickly be made manifest for real in my life. And also that the state of enlightenment for which I am practicing, all sentient beings and the practice itself, and the one, the agent, me, who is engaging in this practice, I know is completely lacking any objective existence and is merely imputed by thought. So I'll leave it at that. So the